So, like Charles said, it's not a completely accurate for every hour. However, I think, for East Bay Mud's perspective, because it's part of the work process, it's just now, you know, what they do as part of their day.
Yeah, I was going to make a comment. Sure, struck a chord right there because Foster City, we're involved in this automatic metering project. We're putting all of our water meters on and we didn't anticipate IT is, they're not frustrated, but it's a lot of work that they're doing, setting it up. And I didn't kind of have that in my cost. And they didn't anticipate either. We had meetings. And all of a sudden now they're having to go in there and they have to support us quite a bit. But it's working its way out. But there's all costs like that.
Yeah, and integrating with your other IT systems that you have, like your records management system and so forth. One thing I want to clarify is Jim has made us look better than we are, and it's hard to really resent that kind of thing, but the version where he showed about our implementation, the version that we gave him showed our org chart and showed that we had different levels of implementation in different parts of the organization. So say in one part of the organization, we've got one little sliver that's going great guns and the rest of them aren't doing a darn thing. And then, you know, others that are at an intermediate or whatever. So the real point that we wanted to get across here is basically in PC, we've just gone any darn place that people will do it. So they may be in health and safety, they may be in wastewater, they may be, you know, we've tried to look for windows of opportunity to move the technology forward. And Lewis will be very familiar with that since he got herded into our last training session. And they came in mass, but kind of seemed to like it. So it's basically a difference between kind of one concentrated approach in a pilot area and the other of just kind of selling it to whoever will buy it, and that's kind of the approach we've taken. But in some of those circles that you would have seen, you know, there may be 5 intense users and the rest of them not doing anything. So we're in a very piecemeal kind of situation right now.
I was rounding.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, the documents reside in the document management system. And the wiki is a link to the document management system. So if somebody writes an SOP, they convert it to a PDF and put it in the document management system. Well, I mean, right now it's more of, I mean, with any sort of an SOP, I mean, you have to kind of review it and make sure it's accurate, and we try to do that like with any SOP. And I think that there's really no difference between somebody writing an SOP and putting it in a folder on the desk, somebody writing an SOP and putting it in a document management system. So I don't think it increases or decreases our liability.
One thing I might point out, he mentioned that there's a difference between Confluence and the software they're using, and that theirs is totally flat. Ours has the ability to create hierarchies, although you also get the basic Wikipedia kind of flat search function, as well as just Confluence has that other capacity. But another reason that ITS selected Confluence in the first place is you can set by work site, or if you want to get that extreme about it, at the page level, you can set security about who has the ability to change it. So with theirs, if you can get on it, you can change it, and then a record is kept, as I understand it, of who changed it. But on ours, you can't necessarily, unless a specific decision has been made that you have the authority to change pages. Just every employee can't wander on and start changing other people's pages. So that's a variation between our two kinds of software. But in a more general sense, it's interesting that every new technology kind of brings certain kind of fears. Right now, we've got people who get on email and just feel free to share a lot of thoughts, don't they? So, or maybe that's only us. And so basically we have, at this moment, people have in their hands the ability to take it into their heads to communicate to the whole darn organization about any idiot thought that comes into their mind. And then that is also going to be discoverable. So I don't think, even though this is a different technology, people's basic capability to reach out and splat all over the place is not radically changed by going to Wiki software. Because in our case, as I think with theirs, you're still talking intranet. So it's got basically the same boundary around it that your enterprise email has got. So I don't think it substantially changes your risk in that regard.
No, I agree. I agree. And the Wiki has actually saved me a lot of time because the district has a lot of databases. And I would say most employees had difficulty finding a significant amount of them. But now, with all these links to the Wiki, I no longer get the call. I need to find out, what the water quality analysis was for, this plan on this date. I need to find a drawing for such and such. Now because the Wiki has links to all these different databases that we have within the internet, intranet, they've learned, oh, okay, well look, I can go to the distribution system and I can see what the back T sample was on Main Street Reservoir 2 years ago. Those databases were always there. It's just that now people can find them because they're centrally located within this web browser. And once they realize how much data is really out there, it's really made my job a lot easier because now they're just more independent. They can learn things quicker. And instead of calling me up and asking me for information, now they'll call me up and say, look, I looked at this, this is what I'd like to do, what do you think? Which is really what you want as a manager. You want people to think about things, go collect data, formulate a decision, and then discuss it with you. So I really found a big difference in the way people approach problems since the Wiki has come about. And I think it's also interesting that, two utilities, same problem, same area, same size, simultaneously came to the same decision on how to manage not only all the data that they have, but how to start to capture some of the data from operators that are getting ready to leave. Like I say, one of the ways we've done it is every plant has to produce one SOP every month. So if a plant staff has 7 people, that means that the operator really only has to write 2 SOPs a year, which really isn't that bad. At least I don't think so. Some people may disagree, whoever's writing the SOPs. But that means, okay, so every 6 months, they have to write an SOP. But we have a relatively standard format. So they can take, the format for the, how to transfer alum from the, 2 tanks. Well, that's going to be pretty close to how to transfer hypochlorite from 2 tanks. So it really isn't an onerous project for each of the operators. So there's other options out there. There's TiddlyWiki. There's WikiWiki. There's MindQuery, Microsoft, TigerWiki. So it really, there's a lot of different options out there for creating a wiki. It depends on, what your current intranet is or what system you currently have and how you want to do it. But there's just, if you go onto Google and type in wiki, you'll just get a whole long list of different ways you can create a wiki.
Mark has a question.
Oh.
This may be too technical for me to